Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About It. This is Susan Johnson, and my co host is out doing great things all over town. And tonight we have fabulous guests. This is wonderful. We have Tom Rickier, who is the commander of the American Legion. He'll be the speaker at the Memorial Day, where we recognize our veterans who lost their lives for us in war. And also, we have Joe Tominelli. He's the senior advisor to the Veterans Council, and he's been doing great work for veterans as well all over the town for years and years. So I'm thrilled that we have both of them here, and we're going to talk about things that are coming up to help us remember the veterans who gave their all, remember the families who supported the veterans who gave their all, and we're just very, very pleased to make sure that we recognize the people who take care of us and take care of our country. So welcome to the show, Joe Tominelli.
Thank you, Susan. It's nice to be here with you again.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to this Memorial Day more so than others because there have been a lot of new things that have happened. We've partnered with the American Legion, which has new leadership, and Tom will speak with you about that. But we have some new members who have brought some wonderful ideas to what we can do for our Memorial Day parade. And so we'd like to talk about that. But I'd like to start, if you don't mind, with the pilgrimage.
Yes, please. But let's just say hi first
Sure.
to Tom Rickier, the commander of the American Legion. And I just want to welcome you to the show, and thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for volunteering to speak at the Memorial Day recognition.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I was, a year ago, I would never expect I'd be speaking here. And somehow I became commander. Thank you. And we were at a meeting. I said, how about a parade? And they said it was impossible. And I didn't agree with it. I said a few words. I said, if I'm the only one to march, we're going to have a parade. And before I left the room, I think we had 4 people. And now I think we're into 60, 70, 80 people maybe.
Well, with that kind of determination, I'm very thrilled to learn that you are the commander of the American Legion and that you have brought back a lot of the things that were going on. And so I'm glad to see the Legion is there. I was a former auxiliary member back in the day, and then I got worked into all kinds of other things, but I'm getting my application back, and so is my co-host Dennis O'Brien, husband, law partner, and we will be joining up with the American Legion as well. So please go ahead, Joe, and tell us about the new things in which you have planned for our Memorial Day
Yeah,
here.
well, we'll put off the pilgrimage for a minute because Tom and John Moran joined the Greater Windham Veterans Council, and it's been a breath of fresh air to have them on the Veterans Council and the ideas that they bring and the different ways in which they've looked at things because, you know, Bill Woodbury, Gary Pomo, Chris Paulus, we've all been together for quite a while, but, you know, after a while you can get stuck in your own box. And I feel like Tom and John have gotten us out of that box, and the ideas that they've brought to the council have been welcomed.
That's really a great way to put it, because I think that we all need to move around and connect with people. And one of the things about our community is having a veterans recognition, having veterans be in the community, having veterans support each other in the community, and realizing that we have veterans coming that have come since the Vietnam War, since some of these other wars that we've been involved in, and we need to make sure that they're supported and recognized and feeling part of the veterans community. So yes, I'm very, very thrilled that we're doing more of that now.
Yeah, one of the more significant ideas, I think, Susan, is the fact that we want to reach out to the Hispanic veterans. So if there are Hispanic veterans who are listening to the show today, or you know of Hispanic veterans who might not be listening to the show, we want them to come out to the parade on Monday, May 27th at 10 o'clock at Gilson to assemble with us and to march in the parade with us and to be recognized and honored at Memorial Park. So Hispanic veterans who are out there, or any Hispanic veterans who you might know in your family, please let them know that we want them to march with us. We want them to be with us. We want them to be honored with us.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to add something to it,
Sure.
too. Before I got involved in the American Legion, it was known to be it was very dirty, to put it bluntly. There was nicotine, the smoke, and you walked in the place, it turned you off. Now, a lot of people left the Legion because of that. They should give us another chance. Right now, you can come down. It's a nice building. We're proud of it. We're getting more and more members, and we actually turn the place around. But, you know, some people should give it another chance. And if your parents were in the service, you can join the SAL, the SOL, and we have the auxiliary, and we also have a riders, motorcycle riders. And we all get along well down there. We're happy, and we turn the place around. What we want is more members and more support. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. And I have to say, I agree that it's much nicer there. I was there for a while, and probably about 10, 15 years ago as an auxiliary member, and then, like I say, I got very busy, and but there was a lot of smoke and stuff like that. So it wasn't like that at all when I went for. Recently had a kind of a new grand opening, which was very nice, and I was very honored to be invited, and so was my husband. And some of the work that Barbara McGrath did with the Legion, and it really made a big difference in terms of turning around some of the things that had to be done. And it's a great thing because I know back in the day when I was in college, I actually worked really hard to. First, I was an intern at Legal Services, and I wrote a manual for the Soldier, Sailors, and Marine Funds to be used by the by legal aid, and to help people make sure they connected with the Soldier, Sailors, and Marine Fund, which is a program for veterans, for soldiers, sailors, people served during war from Connecticut or just served from Connecticut. And there had been a trust fund put in after World War I with a penny on the cigarette tax. And as we progress through time, just in the last, say, 6-7 years, I think the Legion now is controlling the Soldier, Sailors, and Marine Fund.
I don't know.
Oh.
I haven't got the slightest idea about that.
Yeah, I think that's still the information about the Soldiers and Sailors Fund would be accessible through Bill Woody Woodbury.
Yes.
And I don't know that between Tom's busy schedule and Bill's busy schedule, if they'd had a chance to connect on that yet.
Sure. Well, it's a
so I'm
complicated
sure,
thing. I didn't mean to.
Yeah. No. I'm sure that the Legion will get up to speed now because things are very different there. We used to avoid having our meetings, our Wyndham's Veterans Council meetings there because of the smoke. Now it's a pleasure to have the meetings there. And I want to echo what Tom said, that anybody who might have left the Legion, give it another chance. Come on back. You'll notice a big difference and you'll enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I think that that's one of the things that will help everybody get together. And when there are needs, it is I'll just say, give a plug again to the Soldier, Sailors, and Marine Fund, and to Woody Woodbury, who's been working. I've worked with him on those issues, and like I say, back in the day, I don't know if they have it still at Legal Services, my little manual that I made, but where I wrote out how everybody can connect with the and it was changed. The system was changed. There was a state organization, and they were working, and they would make sure that they had enough money in there to make sure they gained a lot of interest on the money. It was about $30 million when I wrote the manual. But, it went about, I'd say 2015 or so, it went to the American Legion for them to manage. And so that was one of the things that I thought, well, we can all work on that together. So,
Sure.
That would be something that we'll have to get in touch with Woody Woodbury. How is Woody doing? He usually comes on the show.
Yeah, Woody's very good. He's been quite busy lately with one of the members taking him for cancer treatment in West Haven.
Okay.
So he's been spending a lot of time out of town, driving back and forth and going to Newington and to the VA hospital. So he's a busy bee these days.
Yes, well, we wish him very well, and we send positive healing thoughts to Woody.
Yeah.
And always a great person to work with, especially when I was working with him on veterans issues back in the day. So it's a very important thing that he was doing, and he continues to do.
Yeah, and the Veterans Council is in charge of producing the two parades for veterans in the town of Windham. The Veterans Day Parade, which is for all veterans, to remember all veterans. But I want to make a point to say that Memorial Day is a little bit different than Veterans Day. It's to remember those who gave their lives in the fight for freedom and liberty in our country. And we begin that day at 7 o'clock in the morning at the VFW Hall, and we have a convoy of cars that goes to the 9 different town cemeteries. And if you've never had a chance to attend the pilgrimage, it is a very moving experience to go to the cemetery, where we gather at a specified flagpole. We lay a wreath, we put the colors from half-mast to full-mast, we salute them and the veterans, offering a prayer, and we have taps played. And we do this at 9 different cemeteries, and it doesn't matter which cemetery you're at, the experience is the same. It's just very well. You've been there, Susan.
I
You know,
go
it's
every-
very
I've been going-
moving.
Yes, every year it is very moving, and to have the recognition, the prayer, and of course you give the salute with the
With taps,
yes, with the taps, and that it's quite moving each time, and it makes you think about what's going on, and who helped us out, who saved us, and who gave their lives to save us. And they may not have actually died right there in the war. They might have gotten sick from something that happened to them afterwards,
Right.
and because they were exposed to all kinds of all kinds of things happen to people who serve in war. And the war is just it's hell, and it's diplomatic failure.
And this,
And
yeah.
it's really something that, as people, I hope, as we progress as humans, that we stop doing that.
Right. And
But
it's-
you really have to get into the development of the brain, and it's got to be also going according to the Geneva Convention back after World War II, right? I mean,
Right.
because they said, hey, let's not starve people anymore. Maybe we won't have any more wars. But so they knew the reasons for some of these wars. It was, to make sure people have a roof over their head, make sure that they don't go hungry, make sure that they're not put in these oppressed situations, make sure they have an education. And these are the things that, if we can get done internationally, we might be able to limit wars.
right.
Veterans Day last year was my first experience going on a pilgrimage,
Yes.
and I didn't really want to go on it. I said, "What do? You go to 9 cemeteries and you put a wreath down?" I said, "How long is it going to take?" And somehow I got talked into going.
This is Memorial Day, actually, because Veterans Day.
No, it was last Veterans Day.
No.
We
Oh,
don't-
you
That was
probably,
my first one.
you probably went to the Wreaths Across America.
Yeah, the wreath across America.
Yes.
That,
Yeah.
Okay.
and I got back, and I was impressed.
Yeah.
I was really happy I went.
Yeah.
I was surprised,
Yeah.
and it's a good feeling.
Yes.
And it's
Because you go to a cemetery, you see people that you served with, like the one cemetery I seen Andy Carey's grave.
Yes.
I went to grammar school with Andy.
Oh, did you?
And another one was John Shea. John Shea was the first veteran that died in the Vietnam War from Connecticut. And you see these things, and it was nice. It
Yeah.
was really nice.
and it's I don't know, it's important to honor the legacy of the people who lived the lives that they did, and also the things that they left for us.
Yes.
And when you take part in the pilgrimage, it brings that to light more. You understand better that, some of these people, they didn't get a chance to live a life.
Right.
They gave their life,
Exactly.
and I feel very strongly about honoring that and making sure that their sacrifice is not and will not be forgotten. And I believe that the people in the town of Windham who show up to the parades and who march with us and who are always there for us feel the same way. And it makes us as veterans very, very grateful.
Well, we're grateful to the veterans, very much so. And certainly Memorial Day is a very, very special day to remember those who gave everything, their lives, and they felt that strongly about defending all of us, that they
Yeah.
were in combat and that happened to them. So.
Yeah, and so we finish up at the Veterans Greenway, which is next to Gilson Square and the new community center. And at that point, we assemble for the parade. And Tom's going to speak a little bit about the parade, some of the things that the Legion is doing, some of the things that the Veterans Council is doing, and it's going to be exciting.
All right, let's hear you. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, to begin with, it's bigger than we thought. There was going to be we didn't have a band. We had one person that was going to play a musical instrument, and that was it. Then all of a sudden we got a band. Thank you.
Yeah, the Wyndham High School Band will be there
Yeah.
with Mr. Tom Pelton as the director.
Wonderful, thank you.
And
That's
then
great.
we nobody wanted to really go to it. And little by little, now we got a trailer, and we're going to have probably 30 people on that, and we might have another one with another 20 people on it.
Now, the people on the people on the trailer are veterans.
Yes, all veterans.
Yeah.
And we're going to have another one, which another group we just brought into the Legion, and they said they got their own trailer and they want to come with us, and so that's another one. And we got couple special guests. They both happen to be 100 years old.
Oh my.
No, I'm sorry. One's 101. The other's a kid. Jack Carchidi, 101 years old. I grew up right across the street from Jack. If anybody knows Jack, he's a gentleman. He's a guy that always carried his own weight. Good father, he's a good person. And the other one is Jimmy Cardile, who's an exciting person. Jimmy is fun. He's a good person. He's a Mason. As a matter of fact, I think if you go in Columbia, you look at one of the plaques, he's dead. He's on a plaque from World War I. They said they were all dead. He's still alive.
Wow,
And
that's amazing.
he's been around. Jimmy was in the Philippines, New Guinea, that whole area, and he ended up in Japan, I think. And he was in the Philippines when they dropped the atomic bomb. And Jack and his two brothers were in a European theater there, and they both came back alive. Or actually, all four of them came back alive, and they lived good lives. And right now, one's 101, one's 100 years old, and
Wow.
they're good friends. They're
That's
nice
wonderful.
people and good people.
Yeah, and they'll be given special recognition on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. So they're going to. So they'll be up with us.
Yeah.
Good.
And
good.
and Tom, aren't we going to have some veterans are going to march?
Yes,
So
I'm one of them.
yeah, we'll have some marching and some, if they're no, I'm talking about the people who are listening to the show. If there's veterans out there,
if they want to come out, they can come out. They don't need a uniform. They can just come out and join us.
yeah,
Yes.
if you're not able to march, that's not a big deal. It
No,
doesn't
it's-
matter. We've got room on the trailer, and we would
Oh,
love
good.
to have you. We've also got some cars. People are providing some cars.
Great.
Tom DeVivo has a beautiful antique Jeep,
He sure does. That's a gorgeous
and
Jeep. Yes,
he's
he does.
volunteered to take some people. John Postemski has a Model T. He's volunteered to take
Well,
some people.
They should. Some people might get tired marching.
Yeah, yeah. You jump in the car.
I talked to
They're tired right away. Look at that Jeep.
Yeah, right.
one girl, and she's a member, not an active member, but she always pays her dues. And I talked to her into coming down to march. She said, "How far is it?" I said, "It's not that far." And I said, "It's far enough, though. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a practice run. I want to make sure I can make it."
Yeah,
And, she said, "Call her, let her know. She wants to find out too."
yeah.
That's only. It's probably a mile, if that.
Yeah, I think it's about a half or 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
A mile at the most.
Yeah.
But we go from Gilson Square up Main Street to Memorial Park,
Right.
which is right near Dairy Queen. So it's
Stop at
not.
Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Well,
well,
there's
no,
that.
people.
You
When you
can.
say Dairy Queen, you get people's attention.
You
So-
bet. It's right by Dairy
So-
Queen. You can get that ice cream on the
so-
way to the.
But we
on the
have,
way to
we
the
have
ceremony.
We have the National Guard's going to provide a color guard for us, and we're going to have a truck.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
So the National Guard is participating. Bill Woodbury has arranged for a flyover.
Ooh.
Yeah, and of course there's the town fathers and the dignitaries who march with us, and there's the two trailers, the high school band and the two trailers, and we have a surprise. Just yesterday, I talked with a man from Torrey, a prospect named Frank Zappone.
Oh.
Frank is called the Lone Drummer.
Yes.
He does rudimentary drumming on his field drum and military calls with his. And he's going to be near the back of the parade, in the back of his pickup, because his back is shot. So he has this drum on a rack,
Oh,
and he's going to
wow.
be playing these rudimentary marching drums, and it's going to be. I saw a video of it, and he's quite accomplished, and he's nationally known. So we're very, very fortunate. The whole parade's going to be very exciting because of how many veterans we're going to have, Tom.
Mm-hmm. I hope they show up.
Yeah.
A lot of veterans, they want to do it, they mean to do it, and then they say, "Oh, I wish I'd done it."
Yeah.
So we got to make sure they
Yeah.
get out there.
Well,
Well, there's also just to
I got a list
inspire
of
people.
about 12, 15 I'm going to call the day before.
yeah.
So just to inspire people, after all the ceremonies and everything, there is food at the VFW.
At the American Legion this year.
Oh, it's at the Legion.
That's another, the fact that the Legion has
very
stepped
good.
forward in their leadership
Nice,
role,
amazing.
and they're Tom can tell us
Well,
about
tell
that.
us, tell us about that. That will inspire attendance.
Well,
Food always brings the people.
well we're going to have, we asked one local pizza place, I guess Tony's Pizza. They're going to
Uh-huh.
supply pizza,
Yeah.
no charge. That's
Oh,
just one thing.
Oh, fabulous.
And we're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs, and we're going to have, I don't know what else we're going to have, desserts lined up, and it'll be good.
Oh, it will. Yeah, you
Mhm.
had a wonderful your opening
Yeah.
time. That
It'll
we
be the
went
same
to.
thing, but it's going to be bigger,
It'll
hopefully.
be wonderful. You had great food. I mean, I was.
Yeah,
So
so
everybody,
after the-
all the marching and the ceremony, from there, the food at the American Legion.
Yes.
This time, so this is great. This is Susan Johnson. I'm here with our very special guest this evening discussing our Memorial Day recognition period with Tom Rickier, the commander of the American Legion, and Joe Tominelli, the senior advisor to the Vets Council. We will be right back after these messages. Welcome back, everyone. This is Susan Johnson. I'm here with Tom Rickier. He is the commander for the American Legion, and he will be our speaker at the Memorial Day ceremony. Also, we have Joe Tominelli here, who is the senior advisor to the Veterans Council, and he's here to discuss all the things that they're doing with the Veterans Council, asking for Hispanic vets to join us at our celebration of the actually recognition of the veterans who gave their all, gave their lives for America, and the American Legion changes that have been going on that Tom Rickier has been involved in. So we've been having a great discussion about what we're going to do for the ceremony for the veterans and the veterans who gave their all. And so I want to make sure that people hear about all your work. And so why don't we start with you, Tom, and ask you to just go ahead and tell us a little bit about the changes at the American Legion and how we're taking new applications. I got my membership I'm going to be submitting, and because my father was a veteran, my grandfather was a veteran in World War I, my father World War II, my husband served stateside in the during the Vietnam War. So I have family members who are veterans all the way back. So.
Well, actually, one of the first things we have to do is we need more members. The place, when I took it over, it was there was no accountability for anything. All the minutes of the past meetings were gone. There was no books, no nothing. We didn't file taxes, so we had a heck of a mess. And what I tried to do was just get through that mess. And right now we're just about through with it, and we're going to concentrate on getting new members. And we need members. We want members. And I think the members, if they join, I think they would want to stay and participate in a lot of the things we're doing. It's not just going there and playing cards and playing horseshoes. It's other little things we do that mean a lot. Like myself, I got out of the Marine Corps in 1966, and I'm ashamed to say this is going to be the first Memorial Day parade I went since probably 1961. And I'm glad I got involved. I'm very proud to be a vet, but I'm more proud to be a vet that's doing something. So I'd like to see more people get involved with the American Legion. And right now, like I said, we're trying to get members. If you served in the armed forces and you got a DD 214, just bring it down, show it to us. We'll take a copy of it, and then you could join up probably within a couple days. And if your mother or your father served in the armed forces, you could also join another section of the club, which is the Sons of the American Legionnaires, SAO, we call it. And we also have the auxiliary. It's the ladies, the wives, and the mothers. That group is back in action now. And we also have the Riders, which is a motorcycle branch of the American Legion. It's nationwide. And they're very good at fundraising, and we have that now. So we got a lot of things for people to do. If, take the first step. Don't wait till you're almost 70 years old like I did. Just join, and you're going to be happy you did. We don't have too many members between the ages of 20 and 35 or 40. It just seems like there's a big gap, and we like to fill that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. Thank you for that. And that really gives you a sense of community, and it really brings the connections that really I think that sometimes I think we're missing, because we used to have manufacturing and things like that, and the employment brought people more together. But this is another thing that really has a lot to do with people's lives. And there are things that veterans may need that they can get together and they can work on the things that the veterans or the veterans' families may need. And they deserve to have that support. And the American Legion can help provide that support. And so, Joe, tell us some more about our Memorial Day ceremonies.
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to Jimmy Bocart and Rich Dubina from the American Legion. Jimmy went to Coventry, was able to pick up the trailer, the 36-foot trailer that we're going to use to ferry the veterans from Gilson Square to Memorial Park. And that trailer has rails on it, so anybody who rides on it's not going to feel like they're going to fall off. It's not like a flatbed truck with no sides.
Steps.
And Rich has done a lot of work.
Steps.
Yeah. So I think it's important to recognize those people who have done that for us. The Legion has been very gracious in how they've approached this parade and all that they've given. So that's really important. And we would like as many veterans as possible to come to Gilson Square at 10 o'clock on Monday, May 27th, to march with us or ride on the trailer. We would also like Hispanic veterans. If you are a Hispanic veteran or you know someone who is, please come and join us. We would love to have the Hispanic veterans represented as they are important members of this town, and we would love to have them come and be with us. So our focus this year is getting veterans to march down the street, be recognized and honored for their commitment to their service to our country.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. And, it's something that I think that we all need to take a look at. And even if you're not a veteran, I think that it's really important to attend these events, because what happens is you really get to understand, you get to meet people who served, who took care of us and have taken care of our country. And it's really important to understand that. My father was in World War II. He was in the Navy. And I know I've said this before, but he was there after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And I hadn't really been to Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, until December 2022. And it was really very, very moving to go through and learn all about the things that happened after the bombing, what the situation is. And after doing that, they have a half-hour video about how everything happened, the reasons why for the bombing of Pearl Harbor by Japan, how many people lost their lives, the horrible chaos that occurred, and the cleaning up that still isn't finished to this day. That there is still leaking oil from some of those ships. There's still bodies underneath the ocean there in those places. They couldn't lift the vessels, the ships that were bombed and turned over. So there's still wreckage there. And he was there and in the Pacific Theater during that time. And it was very, very moving for people to really, I mean, you could only understand a teeny bit of what went on. But just to go through that in that half hour and hear the sequence of events and see the destruction that occurred and see how people came together to try and make sure that they saved who they could and that they were able to take care of the people in the area. It's really very, very moving, and it was really took me back for a bit. So it is something that, if you have these things in your families or your friends, this is something that really is should be recognized. And I don't think we fully understand the trauma and the difficulty people go through when they're in a war setting, when they are doing that fighting. It's really quite difficult and should be recognized.
Well, our lives have become so convenient.
Yes.
It's hard to remember the sacrifice that others made these days, not only because of the convenience that we've been afforded because of freedom and liberty, but just because of how busy we are. And I would like the people listening today to know how appreciative the veterans are when we are at Memorial Park on the memorial, standing with Susan and May, Tom DeVivo, all of the representatives of the wreaths that are displayed, and we see you out there making a sacrifice yourselves from your busy schedule to be with us, and it's very very gratifying to see everyone there.
Absolutely, it's very, very much so.
I would like to see more people.
Yes, yeah.
I grew up, and Memorial Day was the day.
Yes.
I mean, everybody was dressed up. The park was full. Everybody was, the whole town was there. On Veterans Day, I looked out there. I remember, I said, it wasn't many people at all. I was surprised. Hurt. Might have woke me up a little bit. Shame on me, but
It's interesting you talk about when you were young, and when I was young, I was a baton twirler, and so I would march every Memorial Day, and then I was teaching baton, and I'd bring my students and we'd march. So I've been involved, and then I come here, and whether I was on the council or some other position, I was always marching in Memorial Day parades. So, but we didn't have one of the things, interestingly, that occurred here because we had such limited funds here in the school system for the band, and so Kathy Clark decided that we should have a Memorial Day parade with a boombox, but it was a little bit too off the wall for recognition of people who gave their lives. So that's how the boombox parade started. But it was originally to try and get people to come out with a band. And of course, Joe Tominelli, you're the leader in the Wyndham Public Schools, and then over to the tech school, helping the kids with a band.
It was a pleasure to do it, and I remember working with the Charles Barrow STEM Academy in Wyndham Middle School, and we would have 100 kids out there. Several times we had 100 kids out there with the Wyndham High School band, and COVID kind of squashed a lot of band programs. It was very difficult for kids to play, but Tom Pelton from Wyndham High School has done a wonderful job in getting the kids interested again. And he's almost he's like 40 or 50 kids now.
Oh,
so we're going to have more kids this time than we had last Memorial Day. And, we're hoping for the best. Tom has a first-class speech, and people will enjoy what he has to say, the memories that he shares, the pride he has in the town of Wyndham, and his presentation, just who he is, will come across in that. And we hope that as many people as possible can come out and support it.
Yes, absolutely. We certainly want to make sure that we come out and listen to Tom Rickier, commander of the American Legion, and we're so glad you were here with us today. And I know that you have some great things. We don't want to have you reveal your speech yet, but
Well, Joe helped me a lot with the speech, and I appreciate that. Without Joe, this parade is Joe's parade.
Right.
I just happened to open my mouth one time, and
It's a team effort, Tom.
it's a team effort, yes, but
it's a pleasure
no,
to do
it's a
it.
pleasure working with you, or for you, whatever.
well, we're thrilled that Joe Tominelli has really taken the lead here. And of course, without always, I think during this time, not just about Woody Woodbury, who's done amazing work, but also former state representatives Lesko and Andy Carey. John Lesko and Andy Carey both were very, very busy making sure that we did the recognition that we should do and have the right ceremony for the Memorial Day and also for Veterans Day.
Both from St. Joseph's School.
Are they really? I didn't know that about them.
Me too.
You too.
Right.
Very, very good. So yeah, and they were great leaders. They were interested in the community, and that's what I think this is right now. My sense of how to deal with this situation and how to make it. It is about community. It's about involvement because. What more community involvement can you ask of a person who actually gives their all, saves the country with their lives? And that is something that, should be recognized and supported. But it is a sense of community. And right here in this area, having the people here in this area be part of that recognition and be part of that support group. Because I think that also maybe people don't feel as recognized as they should. And so we just want to try and reach out and make sure they have that feeling of community.
Right. And why join the VFW or why join the American Legion? It's important that the sacrifice that these people have made is not forgotten. And we are looking forward to passing that down to the next generation because we realize that, well, first of all, we have something to offer, but we want them to take it up for themselves and make sure that this is continued because we feel that strongly about it.
Yes.
Yeah, people say that, well, this is a fact. The VFW membership is going down. The American Legion membership is going down. This is across the whole country. And people are saying 7, 8, 10 years, it'll probably be just one of them. And that's one problem that's got to be faced sooner or later about consolidation or something, unless we get a lot of members.
Yeah.
But the only way, there's two ways to get members. Get the ones that been to war, unless there's another war. You don't want that.
Yeah.
No.
So,
But the families too, and the families I think are really important because they watch what happened. They suffered the loss. And the families, I think, every so often we do also take into consideration the families and what they've been through because they support their veterans and they support the veteran who was lost. And they live with that forever.
Right.
It doesn't go away.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Eastern Connecticut Veterans Coffee House, which meets on Wednesdays at from 9 to 11. Another great place to get together, as well as the American Legion, as well as the VFW, and whichever place you go to, it helps to solidify the honor and the respect for veterans, and places for them to meet, and places for them to feel safe and be recognized and be appreciated.
Excellent. Okay, one more time. We got just 1 minute for each of you. Just tell us a little bit about what's going to happen and tell us a little bit about how to sign up and be another member of the American Legion. Why don't you go first?
to sign up at the American Legion, let's not just talk about it, let's do it. We got a lot of people that want to sign up, and people are signing up. We're getting more members, but we want a lot more members.
Okay. And tell us.
Yeah, and we will meet at the VFW Hall at 7 o'clock on Monday, May 27th, to go to the pilgrimage to the 9 cemeteries in Wyndham, finishing at the Veterans Greenway by 9:30. We'll assemble for the parade at Gilson Square near the community center at 10 o'clock, and at 10:30 sharp, we march off up Main Street to Memorial Park for our ceremony at 11 o'clock. We look forward to seeing everyone. We want all veterans to come march with us. Hispanic veterans, please come march with us. We want to be united together to make this a very special day.
Oh, thank you so much, Tom Riccier, Commander of the American Legion, and Joe Tominelli, Senior Advisor to the Veterans Council. This is Susan Johnson. Please, we'll look forward to seeing everybody to recognize our veterans who gave their all on Monday, the 27th of May. And join me next week for another show on Let's Talk About It.